Is there a question you receive you hate to answer, can't stand? Whether it's fans asking, strangers asking. Maybe it's a repetitive question, you get it all the time.
Honestly, no, because I find myself always answering the same questions or elaborating on a situation. And at the end of the day, no, because it always makes me answer my question better. It's like practice for me. You know what I mean? It's like practice, honestly, because it's like you never know how somebody feel, but when you start getting the same question and start the same answer, it's like, okay, people are really interested in this, so you really focus into the situation. So it's like you want to answer this question to really give people a clear understanding of the question and the answer. So no, I never felt like it was a question or a situation I never wanted to talk about, because at the end of the day, I just want my supporters and my fans to really know me and to really get into details about me, because I'm big on details. I'm really big on details. I'm really big on getting to the conclusion and making everybody satisfied and making sure that people want to know what they want to know. Because I'm like that. I want to know details. I want to know when, why, where, and how. So when I feel like somebody is that interested in me, I want to give them that, because I really genuinely want my fans and my supporters to really know who I am here and behind closed doors.
Have people question your sexuality?
That's what you mean.
Are you straight, bisexual, gay?
No, because I used to be gay. I dated a girl for about 3 to 5 years. I don't remember how many years. It was a long time. After my first baby's father, I dated a girl. We lived together, and it was public. I really never hid anything. It was nothing that I never hid. My thing is, people always tried to hinder me for certain things. Like, I never hid nothing. I never tried to sugarcoat nothing. I never tried to put on a persona or hide nothing. My thing is, people always try to use something that they feel like that I did wrong, and they use it against me. And it's like, why are you trying to use this against me when I'm open to this? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, why do people try to hinder me and try to hold things over my head and dangle things over me when I'm not hiding it? I'm not the one trying to hide it. I want y'all to know. I want to give y'all details on why, when, how, and where. Because y'all thinking it's affecting me when it's really affecting you. Clearly. Because y'all feel some kind of way. I don't feel no kind of way. I'm human. I make mistakes. And I can admit and I can move forward. A lot of people can't do that.
What do you consider yourself at this point, 2020?
I consider myself as a boss, independent, growth, a mother. I consider myself as a real, true artist.
I meant sexuality-wise.
Oh. Strictly dickly.
Straight.
Strictly dickly. Like, I don't even like girls like that. Like, you can't help who you love. At this point in my life, when I went through this phase, it was just like I was going through something and I was trying to get over something, and it was a thing like you can't help who you love at this point. And I did it, and I went through it, and it was just like, no, but I love penetration. So.
And you stated you're a nympho in another segment.
I love to. I just like if I'm with you and we a thing, like I love to have sex. I like having sex. Like, I get horny. I feel like I got men hormones. Like, it's weird. It's just, I can't explain it. Like, I like the toys. I got all kinds of toys and stuff like that. So, different little vibrators and stuff like that. I just like having sex. Good sex. Like, it can't just be like, oh, we have sex, it is what it is. No, it gotta be meaningful. It gotta be some type of emotional attraction. It gotta be, like, intimate. Like, I don't like to just have sex because, oh, if I just like having sex. I'm about to have sex with you because I like to have sex. Or we about to have sex. No, it gotta be intimate. It gotta be attraction. It gotta be there. Like,
Are you addicted to sex?
yes. I love having sex.
Has anyone said this this sex addiction is an issue, is something that you might need professional help with?
No, not yet. Not yet. And it's crazy. I'm gonna tell you this story. This story might sound weird, and I'm gonna be open to tell y'all, but I used to I used to watch shit, and I used to be like, okay, if this situation happened to me, I'm just gonna be like, okay, I can't explain this, but I'm gonna tell y'all it's unexplanatory, but this just goes to show. This is elaborating on the way I like sex. Okay, so I would be like, you don't have to, you don't gotta rape me. Let's just have sex. But I was in a predicament where I was molested and I could have been raped, and I was held at gunpoint, and I was forced to have oral sex and stuff like that, and I didn't like it. And I was scared, and that was a whole nother meaningful thing. Like, and I only speak on this because this was my mentality of being a nympho and just wanting sex, because this was something that I thought about in general. But in real life, like, I was robbed, I was held at gunpoint, and somebody forced me. I feel like I could have been raped, but I lied to them, and I told them that I was on my period at the time, so they didn't rape me. But what they did do was force me to have oral sex with them. And it was something that I just felt so bad about, because it was like, I used to say these things like, oh, if this ever happens to me, I'm just going to be like, well, this is, and it's like, that wasn't that. Like when shit really hit the fan, like, it's not that. Like, even though I love having sex, I used to thought I love having sex so much, I had this mentality, you can't play with real life situations, because real life situations will come at you and it will hit you so fast, and you will be in a situation that it's a life or death situation, and all that shit go out the window. So you really gotta be careful on what you ask for and what you say and how you feel. Like, I can sit here and say, like, yeah, I love this, I love that, and people play games, like, because I still to this day, I see shit, I see movies, I see people that say, like, no, you can't, it's not that serious now. Like, it's not that consent, because I done been in that position, and it's like, this ain't cool, this ain't right. And yeah, I mean, that could have been totally relevant, but I feel like, irrelevant, but I feel like it was relevant to my situation, because the mindset that I had with me liking sex so much, I used to play around with it. You know what I mean? I used to go out of proportion with it. I used to put it out of proportion, like, shit, I do this, but shit, be careful, because don't let that shit, because that shit will really hit you in real life, and then you be in a situation that you gonna wish you never had them the tongue is the tongue is powerful. So you better be wishing what you say. You better watch what you say and how you say it, because I used to speak like that. Like, yeah, I like sex and I like doing this and doing that, and I used to try to prove a point. This is the point I'm trying to prove. I was just trying to prove a point that, oh yeah, I like sex as much. Listen, if something ever happens to me, I just want to have sex. And I was in that position. I was in that predicament, and I was scared for my life. So just watch what you say, and just the tongue is powerful. So just watch what you say and watch how you say it. So that's the moral of the story I'm trying to get from that. And still trying to give detail, because I'm, like I said in the beginning, I'm very big on detail. I'm very big on getting my point across and getting people just to understand me and where I come from and stuff like that. I don't try to leave anything out. It's not all about the good with me. It's about the ugly and the bad and the evil and stuff like that. So this is basically what this interview was about with me. Like, I done had plenty of interviews and different kind of interviews, but I definitely always, in each interview, I want to get my point across and my story each time, so everybody that's looking on the outside looking in can get a real good point of view of where I come from in my story, whether it's good or bad. Take the good with the bad, the good, the evil, the pros and the cons. So I always try to get that point across.
What age were you when the incident happened?
This was back in 2000. This is right before I moved down here. I moved down here in 2017. This is in 2016. I was down here in Atlanta visiting. I used to do private massages, and I used to post on different websites. Me thinking, I do this, I do that, grinding, hustling, getting my money. That's why I like OnlyFans, though, because you don't got to meet up with nobody. You don't got to...
It's all virtual.
You feel me? So OnlyFans is actually good for me because it's still up my alley. You feel me? Because I've been moving a certain kind of way. You feel me? I ain't never been no prostitute or out here, you feel me, or doing porn. Never. I can always be honest with that. But it was up my alley. You feel me? I didn't been on the back pages. You feel me? I didn't been on dating websites. Not doing porn, not signing my body, but hustling. Grinding. Nah, I'm not out here posting for sex. But guess what? I do these private massages. I do this. I do that. You feel me? Sex sells. I put on some good lingerie for you. Fetishes. And I got caught up. I got caught up out here in Atlanta thinking I knew what the fuck I was doing and got robbed. Gunpoint. And changed my whole persona, the way I move. So I'm actually thankful for OnlyFans, if you ask me. It's way better.
Can we dive a little deeper with this situation, or is it sensitive?
As far as what?
When you were held at gunpoint, was this in a hotel room? Was this in a private residence?
It was in a residence, a bandit residence. So, on my phone, I had my Google Voice. You know what I mean? I never had no issues, ever. And I was probably doing it for about a year now at the time. People call me. I post my ad. I do massages. It's, innocent. You want to massage, people get massages all the time. I'm not posting, oh, we about to, we having sex. You do got those ads. I thought I was doing something different. You know what I mean? I thought it was more upscale. I used to go to high-end restaurants, Ruth Chris, different restaurants, and, dress nice and get and get my clients. Never had a problem. Word of mouth. Then I start posting on different ads. Then I like to go out of town, make money at the same time. You know what I mean? So I'm in Atlanta and I'm posting. And actually, my child's father, we didn't even have a child at the time. He's down here with me, and you know, we come out of town for a whole different reason. But here I am, still, you know, doing me, doing what I want to do. We had a hotel room, and I leave the hotel. I get my clients. I go to one client. Everything was cool. You know, it's either 30 minutes or an hour massage. You feel me? Go to one client, everything is cool. I probably had a couple $100 on me. You know, this other client called me. You know, I try to talk to you, see how you is. Everything played the par. Like, everything sound good. So, me knowing now, living here in the area, I would never went there. In the area, it was flat shows. You know what I mean? I've been here for 3 years. Now I know flat shows, I would never. But I'm down here visiting at the time. I wasn't even living here. So, they call me like, okay, give me the address. I go to the address. I'm on the phone with them. I'm pulling up. I'm in a rental car. I'm pulling up. They on the phone like, yeah, I see you. Okay, yeah, you can park right there. You know, I'm thinking everything cool. We on the phone. Yeah, okay, yeah, park. Yeah, you can park right there. Yeah, I see you. You know, yeah. Park right there. Come on, come downstairs. So I'm like, okay, cool. Park the car. We still on the phone. I get out the car. I walk up to the door. Open the door. He opened the door. So I get in. He shut the door. Put the gun to my side. Like, just unlock your phone. I couldn't believe what was going on. Like, other dude come from the back with his strap. Other dude come from around the corner. It's just a couch in there. You could tell it was a abandoned crib. So other dude come from around the corner. He got his gun. Dude, you feel me, that I was on the phone with, he had his gun to my side. He automatically unlock your phone. I unlock my phone. Take your password off. Take my password off. Disabled your shit. This, that, and the third. So he had my phone off rip. No password. No find my iPhone. Took it all off. Okay. Where the money? So I had two purses. So I had a Louis purse and I had this little small purse that was inside my purse that I had all my money folded in. So it took me a while to find my money. I kept saying like, I don't got no money. Like, I'm playing it like I don't got no money. Like, shit. Like, I'm not from here, which I really wasn't. You know, like, and it was crazy. It really felt like a movie because it was a nice one and it was a mean one. You know what I mean? It was a nice one. It was a mean one. And when I say this, because the mean one, take off your shoes, lay down. You feel me? Like, he took my shoes, he took my purse, my keys, everything. So at this point, I'm scared. I'm telling them, like, I don't even live here. I'm showing them my ID. Like, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. Like, they tell me, I don't want to go back to jail. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. You hear them going back and forth. They not showing me their face. They got their face covered up, head down, telling me not to look at them. Got me down on the ground, face down, head down. I'm scared. I know my child's father is calling me. It's what, 4 o'clock in the morning at this time. So, they looking for the money. They going out to the rental car, looking in the car. So they finally find, I literally just left one client. So I only literally had like $150 on me at the time. So they find the money. They doing this, doing that. So I'm telling them, like, listen, somebody is going to be looking for me. Like, they're scaring me. Like, if anybody out there in their car, they going to die. They going to die tonight. Like, this, that, and the third. So I'm just like, man, like, I'm really just playing along with it. But at this point, it prolonged so much. I was just really just ready to just, whatever y'all going to do, like, what are y'all going to do? So he got me laying down. He fondling on me, touching on me, this, that, and the third. I'm like, listen, like, I'm like squealing myself. I'm like, I'm on my period, this, that, and the third. Like, you feel me? Like, so he kind of stopped touching me. So they put me in the bathroom. And I go, like, in the bathroom, they tell me, well, give me some head. So I did it. You know what I mean? I did it. And the other guy go in there, he do the same thing. Well, shit, do the same thing you did on him. So, they talking. So I'm in the bathroom. It's no windows. It's no windows in the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom just looking around like, I'm going to get out of here. So I open the door. They still sitting there like, shut the door. So then I'm like, let me get my keys. Like, can I get my shoes back? One of the dudes like, we going to give you your shoes. We going to give you your purse. We going to give you this. Like, time went by. They threw my keys in the bathroom. It got real quiet. And I just opened the door. And nobody was there. And I remember going out. I remember walking out the house. This lady was walking because it was an apartment complex with stairs. You can either go up or you can go down. So this lady was walking to the stairs. I'm like telling her, like, can I please use your phone? She gets scared. Like, nah, she's scared. I couldn't use her phone. So I get in my rental car. I go to the nearest gas station. Right there was one of them gas stations on the corner. I call the police, the ambulance, and they come get me. They take me to the hospital, and I call my child's father. He wasn't my child's father at the time, but I called my child's father, that my boyfriend at the time, and I tell him, and I was so upset because he didn't even come to the hospital. And I was so upset. And the doctors and the nurses and the people that came and talked to me, like the social workers, they thought I was lying. They thought that I was like some drug dealer and that a drug deal went wrong. And I'm like, are y'all fucking kidding me? Like, I was so sad and I felt so I couldn't even explain the feeling. But they thought I was lying. And they did a rape kit on me, and they took my clothing, and my child's father never came. And I had no phone, and leaving the hospital, it was bright and early. And I tried to find my hotel. I knew what hotel I was staying in because I booked the room. I knew the name. I knew everything. So I'm on the freeway trying to find my way back. I'm lost. I see this girl on the freeway. I flag her down like she pulled over, and I told her what happened, and she put my GPS in, and she took me. I didn't have no shoes on. They took my Jordans off my feet. They took my bag. They took everything. I didn't have nothing. And I went to the room. I made it back to the room, and my baby daddy took me. He got me some shoes, and yeah. But I don't let that hinder me. I don't let that be like, oh, I'm not doing this because I've been through that. Like, I'm not stopping the way I do this because I've been through that. But that was a real life, like, story, like, crazy. But it was a bittersweet feeling because, I'm going to say this, because even though that situation was the truth, I don't know if my parents believed me, because the first time I lost my virginity at the age of 12, I did lie about being raped. You know what I mean? So, and I was a kid. I was 12, and I was scared. And I remember the first time I had sex, I didn't know nothing. I was 12 years old, and I was scared that I lost my virginity. And everything was going through my head. So I told my parents that I thought everything was going through my head. I'm thinking I'm pregnant, I'm this, I'm that, I'm scared. So I lied about being raped. So now that I was grown, I felt like my parents felt like it wasn't the truth. But me and my child's father and everything, and everybody else know, like, it really happened. Like, So my life is crazy. You really gotta watch. Like I said, the tongue is powerful. It's really powerful, and you don't want to be the person out here crying wolf. So
The time when you lied about being raped when you lost your virginity, did someone get in trouble over that?
No.
Whoever
just
you
me.
whoever you had sex with?
No, just me. I never told nobody. I didn't tell them who it was. I made it. It was crazy because I lied about it one year, right? And then I remember I was so mad at my mom. I got so mad at my mom. I was in Rosemont at the time, and Rosemont is a group home in Columbus, Ohio. And the group home was for disobedient kids who couldn't stay in their household because, you know, they didn't want to listen. So I remember one day I was doing so good. I was doing good. I was doing my classes. I was in my group home. I was in the halfway, like almost out. And my mom came in there. My mom came in there and we was talking. And she told my first child's father that I was with at the time. She told him that I lied about getting raped. And I was so angry at her. Like, why would you do that? Like, let me tell him that. Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you? Oh, I was mad. I kicked her out the group home. I yelled, I screamed, and I ran away. And I left, and I was on a run. And I was so mad at her I feel like she violated my privacy. Like, why would you tell him that? Like, I feel like that was my place. Why would you tell he wasn't even my child's father at the time, but why would you tell somebody I'm with now that's what happened with me? But I was so mad. But no, didn't nobody get in trouble, just me. But they knew I was lying. The detectives, after a while, they was like, "We're not. If you tell the truth now, you know, we won't charge you." And I was like 13 at the time. So I remember I was grounded for the whole summer, and my dad came over and tore me up. And I always felt like my dad just always wanted to discipline me. And I used to always tell him, like, you just want to discipline me. You just love when I do something wrong so you can discipline me. You never want to see the good that I do. You just always want to discipline me. I always tell him that. Like, I always felt like my dad just wanted to discipline me when I did something wrong. And like that's part of my life. Like, my childhood is the reason why I am today now. Like, I don't know. But no, didn't nobody get in trouble. He didn't get in trouble. I never told nobody, you know.
When it came to doing these massages, and you were doing them for a whole year before this incident happened, was your child's father, and again, you didn't have a child with him at the time, but did he know you were doing these private massages?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did. He did.
Did he ever, you know, the way you were moving and carrying yourself, going to places by yourself, it sounded like in this particular situation, you didn't have a weapon yourself. You didn't have mace. You didn't have anything but your phone. Was he ever worried about that? Was he ever worried about something happening to you, going to a job, a fetish, whatever, 3, 4 in the morning?
Yeah, he would, but he still to this day, he always tell me, like, you gotta listen to somebody. He always tell me, you was hard-headed. You was the delinquent. You didn't listen to who you gonna listen to. And he tells me to this day, like, this is the only guy I've been with, and I touched so much money that I ever touched. And he tells me to this day, like, you gotta listen to me because I showed you a different route. I showed you that you can do this and move like this and be this type of person, and you can still be successful. You know what I mean? And I really do appreciate him for that. But at the end of the day, I still want to do what I want to do. And I still feel like, listen, I still tell him, like, listen, don't get it twisted, because guess what? I'm still going to do what I want to do at the end of the day. So don't ever try to use anything. I don't like when somebody try to hold something over my head. I hate that. I hate when somebody try to feel like oh, I did this for you, so you got to do this. You got to move that. I'll be quick to tell somebody like, that's not what you're not about to do, because I won't even move like this. I won't even do this if you feel like you got to use this for my head. I'm going to do this how I want to do it. He always tell me that you so hard-headed. You so hard-headed. When are you going to learn? But he right.
Up until the point where this situation that you described happens, was there any ever, during that whole year of doing private massages, was there any sketchy incidents that would even lead you to, you know what, next time I do this, I should take a weapon. Next time I do this, I should take somebody with me. Next time I do this, I should be a little bit better with security or some sort of security doing this type of hustle?
Never. And the crazy thing is, I had my CC dub. I had a CC dub, but the only thing is that it wasn't compatible in Georgia. In Ohio, CC dub, in Georgia, CC dub, it wasn't compatible. But I had my gun license. I just didn't have my gun.
But a knife, a mace, a taser, any of these type of...
I felt like at this point, I was so off guard. Whether I had a gun, a taser, a knife, I was off guard. They had me. They had me. It was nothing I could do. So you gotta be careful. That's the only reason why I like this OnlyFans, because you don't gotta meet up with nobody. You don't gotta do none of this, like back page, none of that. You know what I mean? You don't gotta do none of that. It's like, it's real easy.
When it came to doing these personal massages, were there ever times people wanted, before this incident happened, were there ever times people wanted more than a personal massage, more than a fetish? They wanted to actually have sex with you?
Yes. Multiple times. And you know what I told them? Oh, you came here for a massage. If you wanted an escort, they got a whole lane for that on there, baby. You should have clicked escort. I'm not no escort. You're going to get a private massage, and that's that. If you wanted anything sexual, they have tabs for that. They have a whole nother section for that. That's how I kill them with that.
And no one ever gave you any trouble over that?
Nope, never. What can you say? That's real. Anybody that knows that. Anybody that that went on Backpage knew that. There's sections. You get the adult, you get the personal massage, you get the escort, you get all that stuff. It was like, you right.
These robbers, rapists, you think they've done this before?
Oh yeah. Their conversations like, oh, this is the catcher. So they was waiting on another girl. They kept telling me, when the other girl get here, we're going to let y'all go together. Yeah, they was waiting on another girl, as a matter of fact. Like, the girl never showed up. The girl never came. They was waiting on this other girl. They was kept calling her. She never came. So she was a good one. She got up out of that. She was the lucky one.
Was there ever a moment, or looking back at this whole situation, do you think they've ever killed someone? Do you think they would have killed you over this if you didn't end up having sex with them in some sort of manner? If
at a certain point in time, I thought they was going to kill me, because my life flashed before my eyes. I kept having to explain to them that I wasn't from there. And one of them kept saying, I don't want to go back to jail. I don't want to go back to jail. I don't want to go back to jail. It was really a nice one, and it was a mean one. Like, I cannot make this up. Like, one was cool. One was like, you know what? Like, I ain't going back to jail. Like, one was like, you know, we good. Like, we cool. They verified my information. Like, I was laying flat down on the ground. I didn't know what they was going to do to me. Like, I was definitely furious, but I was definitely like, I got through it. I got through it. I didn't know what they was gonna do, but my life definitely flashed before my eyes, and I thought that when people get scared and they don't want to, they got something they feel like they got. I feel like the only thing that saved me was my ID, that they knew I wasn't from there. I think that was the only thing that saved me, because they was desperate to see that ID. They was definitely to see that, oh, we know where you live. You ain't about to go speak about this, right? I can't even tell you what they looked like. I got one glimpse of them, and that's when I opened that bathroom door, and they was both standing in the room that was catty corner, and they was talking, and they looked, they said, shut the door, and I shut the door. There was no windows. There was no nothing. It was an abandoned apartment, and I was able, when I went to the gas station and called the police, I did take them back to the crime scene. I did. I was able to, go back, show them an apartment. They went in, they took me in. It was like, this is it. I verified like this was it. And I went to the hospital. They took my clothes. They kept my clothes. And the social worker tried to make it seem like I was lying. The only thing I could think about was like, damn, like I lied before when I was a kid, but it was like, damn, now that I'm really in this situation, I really feel violated. I really felt violated, and I felt like, how can y'all not believe me? But, and I was really, really upset about my child's father. But he bought me he put some more shoes on my feet. I was barefooted. He bought me some shoes, and we got on the road, and we went home, because we drove down there. And we got on the road. I was just ready to go home. I'm ready to go home. I went home, and I ended up moving down there next year, 2017.
And did you even get into full detail like you did with this interview with him about what had happened?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he knows. He knows. And he was feeling some kind of way. He didn't want to, he was very distant with me. And, I had to get, tested, make sure I was good. And, they tested me, make sure everything was good. Like, yeah, I definitely feel some kind of way. He was, like, we started dating in 2015. This happened in 2016. So only a year dating. He was like, huh? What happened? Like, what? Like, I was kind of embarrassed to tell him, but it is what it is.
No STD, though, from this incident?
None. Thank God. But, so what they did was they had me rinse my mouth out with water. They did make me perform oral sex, but they made me rinse my mouth out with water and stuff like that. And, yeah. And that was pretty much that.
You think they had done this, and we're speaking hypothetically, you think these two that did this to you did this same type of crime in that same place before you even been there? You think this was a thing this was their thing?
Yeah.
They knew that area, they knew that place?
Yeah. Hell, for sure they have. I told you they was waiting on a girl with me. They had another girl coming that they kept saying, we're going to have y'all leave together. So one of them was for sure like, you good. You going to get, you good. You going to get, you leave, we good. Like, one of them was for sure me like, you good. Like, we going to make sure you going to leave. They gave me my keys to my rental car. Like, I was scared about that. Like, damn, I'm going to be stranded. No car. They going to take my rental. They didn't take my rental. I felt like they lived in the neighborhood, and they knew that was an abandoned apartment. I feel like, I feel like they was on foot. I feel like they was on foot, and they lived out there in that neighborhood, or they knew somebody that lived in the neighborhood, and they was, taking advantage of the situation.
Do you think you offering to perform oral sex also saved you?
Yeah, because I'm like, I didn't say no. I definitely didn't say no because I was scared. They did have guns. Like, they don't know me. I wasn't from there. They could have killed me and left me and moved and went the fuck on. Nobody would have known. So at the end of the day, I didn't want to make nobody mad. Now, they was mad because I lied about where my money was. They finally, why you make me look all out for this money? Why didn't you just tell me the money was in here? Why didn't you? I just kind of just ignored it and played it off like, I was really just pleading my case like, well, shit, like, I got kids, I'm out here hustling, I'm grinding, and...
Do you think they just wanted your money or they wanted sex?
I think they wanted money. I think the sex was just like, oh yeah, they seen me, and they was like, I don't think it was about the sex. They really just was out there wanting money. They was robbing. I don't think it was about the sex at all. I just think because that wasn't the first thing. It just gradually, I was there for about 4 hours. So it just gradually was like, you feel me? It happened over the couple hours. It probably just, was probably really attracted to me. And, because they didn't even make me do it long. They didn't, come and they didn't do none of that. They just had me do it for like a couple seconds and let me stop. They wasn't really pressed about the sex.
Do you think you might have not even had to have gone that route or even have done that? Like if you would have, when they were like, give me some head, you might have been able to, because you were able to play it off with the period scenario with actual intercourse.
Right. I was shocked that I was able to do that.
But do you think maybe they were just trying to see how far they could get with you, if they could get something from you sexually in nature, and if they couldn't, okay, we'll just keep going on our way type of thing?
I don't know. I never really looked at it in that aspect. Like, honestly, I really don't know. I just know they looked for money. They took my jewelry, my earrings out my ears. I knew they wanted material things. They took my Louis bag. They took my diamonds. They took my Jordan, my breads off my feet. They took necklaces. They wanted material things. You could tell off rip. They wanted my cell phone. You know what I mean? You could tell they just wanted material things. Something they can make money off of. Something they can sell. Sexual, honestly, I feel like that wasn't intentional. I feel like they had girlfriends that they went to go get my shit to. If you ask me, and if I can recall, it might have been around the holidays. But I knew I did an incident report and a victim incident, and they kind of reimbursed me for certain things and stuff like that.
Who reimbursed you?
It was an incident. I had to fill out this incident report, and it was they call it innocent victims in sexual crime or something like that, and they basically just try to reimburse you for anything that you can prove that you lost or whatever like that. So I had to file police reports, show them my police reports and hospital reports and stuff like that, and basically they paid for my they paid for my stay at the hospital, my insurance, and stuff like that.
These robbers and rapists, they kept your ID?
No. They gave me, hold on. No, they did. They kept my whole purse. Only thing they gave me back was my keys. They took my shoe. I didn't have nothing. All I had was my keys. Yeah, they kept my ID. They kept everything. My social, I had everything. They kept everything.
Was that a worry? That they knew where you lived?
Yeah, no, because where I lived, I knew it was just temporarily. I was about to move anyway. So the only thing that bothered me the most is I had to go through everything to get everything back. You know, going to go get my new social, new ID, stuff like that. But new debit cards, credit cards, stuff like that. But no.
They didn't run the debit cards or credit cards?
No, because I canceled it ASAP, like that morning.
Was there video of these two? Surveillance video at all? Whether?
Not at all. And the only thing I could ever do is just tell them the glimpse that I seen of them. Like,
did they try to? Did they want to try to do a drawing of them or?
Yeah, there was a drawing, but I'm telling you, like, it was nothing for me to. I seen a glimpse for like 2 seconds, and it was nothing I could show anybody. It was nothing I could tell. That's why I really thought, like, you sure you just was? It wasn't a drug deal going bad. I'm like, are y'all kidding me? Like, I really like felt some kind of way. Like, But me and my child's father, like, we know, like, he kept saying, like, I was calling your phone. I knew something was wrong. I was just like, I knew it. I knew you was worried about me.
You would never tell your child's father where you were actually going? He would never have the address to where you were going? You were just kind of...
Nope. He did not have the address because, like, when you post your ads, you get so many calls. You get so many people. Like I told you, I had left one job with the next.
Did you stop doing personal massages after this incident?
For a while. I started just doing, like I said, getting dressed, going. I started going. I got business cards made. And I started going out to the high-end hotels, restaurants, and start, posting up at the bar and let people, just slip my people. So then it was like more of word of, like, hands-on. So I started moving different. And then he got to the point, like, you can't do this no more. Like, you want to be with me? Like, I ain't going because I don't trust you. I don't know what's going on. I can't do it. So I stopped. I don't do it no more.
Never again?
No. So I did have some good clients. I did have like 1 or 2 clients that was very good clients, that was regulars that I would do, that he knew of, that he was like, okay, cool. You feel me? Like, I had a couple different, good clients, like older people, handicapped people, and he knew about, and he was like, he was letting slide. I ain't gonna say he was just cool with it, but he let slide because he seen the money I was bringing in.
And when we say personal massages, we're talking of just a regular body massage?
Yeah, body slides. So I'll be in my, bra, panties, thongs, or whatever, and definitely front and back massage, and I would do body slides, like put oil on the front of me and like slide up and down their bodies and stuff like that. But yeah, basically just massage.
And what actually happens in a rape kit, with a rape kit? Is it just checking for STDs?
Yeah, so they take your clothing. They
try to find DNA.
Yeah, swab, find DNA, swab your mouth. But they didn't find no DNA in my mouth because, of course, they made me wash my mouth right. They was very smart. They made me wash my mouth right afterwards. And or whatever. And
they tried to get the evidence hidden.
yeah,
and
they
rid
definitely
of.
they was very smart. But like I said, that they was really scared of that. They was really scared of that, honestly. Like, that wasn't their motive at all. You can tell. Like, they was really scared of that. They didn't even make me do it long. Okay. You know, wash your mouth. You know, like, I think it was just like, it was an opportunity at the time.
And you know, have you ever seen professional, we're almost done here with these questions. Okay, have you ever seen a professional to discuss this incident that you went through?
No. Never.
Like a mental health professional, a therapist, that sort of thing?
No, I really don't talk about it, but the only reason why I'm opening up about it now is because it was relevant. I feel like it was relevant because, like, being out here and doing things like OnlyFans, because you never know how people take it to a extreme. I feel like it was relevant to put it out there, you know, to let it be known, like, I've been through it, you know, just to watch how you move and, you know, just be careful. And you never know. And me saying, you know, me being an nympho and liking sex and used to play and watch movies, be like, well, you feel me, just joke about certain things. But when reality hit, like, I just felt like it was real relevant for me to bring it up, because at the end of the day, when you really, really go through something and you experience some shit, it ain't the same. So you really want to evaluate certain things on what you say and how you move, because you can be put in a situation and all that shit out the window. So I just feel like it was real relevant to really speak about and let people know about me, because people probably always have this persona about me, like, oh, you just out here moving like this, anything can happen, this can happen, this can happen. Well, it happened. You know what I mean? And I don't dwell on it. I don't let it stop me from doing it, because I still do OnlyFans. You know, I still move a certain way. I still like having sex. I still like doing this and doing that. I just move different. You know what I mean? So at the end, in the same breath, it's like, I'm a living proof. You feel me? I'm here to be able to speak about it and to move forward. So I just feel like it was relevant to the interview and the conversation, because, you know, a lot of people don't know this about me. You know, people close to me know, but like I said, I'm real big about details and let people understanding about me and what I've been through, and letting my supporters and my fans know that, just, you know, get another side of me, like, beyond the music, you know. So that's the real reason why I even spoke about this in this interview right now.
Well, you were very open about it and survived and were able to tell this tale, because there are people out there that aren't able to speak about an incident such as this, that didn't survive.
And people try to cover up this persona and the real stuff, because they want it to be straight focused on their music and their craft. At the end of the day, this is where people's story come from. People's story and music, and people and artists and rappers and singers, you know, like, deep down inside, this is where their story come from, behind the scenes, behind what people don't see in the music, where they get their sympathy from, where they get their stories from. And me, I want to tell that, so then when y'all hear about it, or when y'all listen to my music, or you know how I move, and you see how I move, you understand why. And that's the whole thing that I want to be able to put out there, because I never really be able to put that out there. Everybody just want to know strictly music and strictly this and what you got next and what you got up and coming, but they really want to know. They never want to know the details and behind the story and behind the music, and it's deeper than that. You know what I mean? So I always been a writer. I never just came out just doing music. I wrote and I wrote poetry, and I wrote because I wrote my pain and I wrote how I felt and I wrote the things that I went through, and that's how I coped with things, and that's how I got through things. And then one day I just turned it into music.
Have you mentioned this incident in your music, or you use this incident? You've used this incident for your music, but haven't actually talked about it.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have bits and pieces, but not just like full blown. But I used bits and pieces of my life into my music, and you know, people. I don't want people to be, you know, confused. I want people to take my music and my interviews and things I put out into the universe and piece it all together and be like, okay, I understand this. I know why she did this. I want to tap in here because I want to know why she did this and why she do that. I don't want to give everybody everything at once. You know what I mean? Because I can't give everything at once because I'm 30 years old. You know what I mean? So it's like, I've been through some shit. I can't give everything at once. So, but I definitely want people to be tapped in with me and to understand the real me, you know, and that's all that matters to me. And I feel like I'm getting that. I feel like I'm getting that now because I listen to the feedback. I see the feedback. I see what people say about me and how they tapped in with me. And I'm like, okay, people paying attention. They seeing this, they seeing that, they worried about this, they worried about that. They tapped in. So let's give them a little bit more.
There are some people, I imagine too, that go through an incident like this that you have, that commit suicide over it.
Mm-hmm.
Have suicidal thoughts over stuff like this, have nightmares, have mental issues stemming from an incident like this.
Right.
Have you?
No. I used to cut myself. I used to cut my arms. My mom used to be like, why, like, everything that, like, this was all, like kid, like, when I was a teenager, though, like, I used to cut my wrist, and, I never just, now that I'm older, no. But when I was a kid, yes, I used to jump down flights of steps in front of my parents, trying to hurt myself. Cut my wrists, tell them I just don't want to be here. But I changed. Like, that's why I went to school for what I went to school for. That's why I went to school for psychology. That's why I'm into this daycare stuff. That's why I like to work with kids, because I want to show these kids and my kids that we go through stuff as teenagers and we change and we go through transparencies, and I want them to show them, like, if I did it, you can do it. You can do it. Like, it's bigger than my music, because music, as an artist, you get through, you relate to other people, and you put out this persona and this message. But me, I'm so big on these kids and these people that's going through something, and whether you're a preteen or a teenager or a adolescent, like adult, whatever, like, it's never too late. You know, it's not too late. I want my story to be bigger than just, okay, getting out the mud, trying to touching 100,000, being a hustler of the year, doing this, doing that. I want them to know, like, it come long before today. It goes beyond what I'm doing today, because this, throughout my years, my adolescence years, is why I'm here today. And I always want to show everybody that, like, this generation is so crazy. I did all that when I was kids, but it's never too late. It's never too late to change your mindset and to get over all that. Like, I did all that stuff when I was 12 through 18 years old. When I turned 18 and I started having kids, I changed my whole mindset. And I'm grateful, because a lot of people don't. They stay stuck in that persona. But I didn't. So that's my story. That's my story. Like, I didn't stay stuck in that. I didn't care about what nobody said. I didn't care about people knowing my story, on how they judged me or how they tried to use it against me. I kept going. And that's the story that I'm trying to put out there.
This incident that you went through mentally, you've overcome it?
Yes. Yes. Yes, I did.
And how?
Just taking it little by little, building my relationship with God, seeing a better outcome when I didn't believe, just kept going, didn't let nobody's judgment hold me down, did what I wanted to do, even when I didn't want to listen to my parents. Even when I did what I wanted to do, when I didn't want to listen to nobody else, I never felt like I went wrong. Even though things that I did was wrong, I still feel like I learned from my mistakes. Nobody had to tell me that what I did was wrong because I learned that it was wrong on my own. I went through it, I've been through it, and I've seen a different outcome. And I learned a different outcome, and I'm able to, save somebody else from the same mistakes. That's how I overcame everything. Is because I never pointed the finger at nobody. I never fought nobody for my mistakes. I know everything that I did, what I did was wrong, what mistakes I made, and I always took full responsibility.
You mentioned God in this interview. Do you follow a religion?
It's not even that it was religion. I just got a relationship with God. I my grandparents always been into church. Like my mom and dad never been in church, but my dad's parents was in church. And even though my dad's parents was in church, my dad never taught that we gonna go to church because that's where I come from. But my grandparents always held that in me, and I gained my own relationship with God. Talking to God and venting. I'm a real vent. I love to vent. Rather, I will vent. It's like therapeutic to me. Like I will go to Instagram and vent because it's just I figure out a way that works for me.
Your father's grandparents, they followed Christianity?
Mm-hmm.
Was it a certain denomination under Christianity?
Not that I can recall. My grandmother passed away when I was 6, but my granddaddy is still living to this day, and he still go to church to this day, believe in God, talks about God, and I just think it's just God. Ain't nothing beyond him.
How does your grandfather feel that maybe you don't go to church, you still believe in God, maybe you don't go to church like he does?
He really don't speak on it. I will say this, though. No matter what I put my family through back then, they all congratulate me today. They all tell me how proud they are of me. They all come to me when something needs to be taken care of. I'm always the one that's keeping the family together, bringing the family together, no matter what, holidays, everybody appreciate me. No matter what we've been through, no matter what I put my siblings through, my parents through, my grandparents, they congratulate me today, and that makes me proud. So.
How long did it take for you to get over this incident mentally?
You talking about when I was molested and robbed?
Yes.
I'm not over it because I still use it as a life lesson today. I'm not really over it to this day. It's not that I'm over it or I got over it. I just know it can happen. I just know, it just taught me a life lesson. You need to slow down. You need to pay attention to your surroundings. Stop being so careless. Stop thinking that you're untouchable. No matter what, you're not untouchable. So now I'm looking over, I'm watching everything. I'm questioning everything. I'm now to this day, and it probably different because back then I wasn't on the level I am today. You feel me? So today on this level, like I'm very like on my P's and Q's. And I'm not just saying I'm still untouchable right now, but I'm not so vulnerable.
Anything else you want to mention in regards to this incident that I didn't ask you, or you want to share with the people?
They never caught him that I know of. That's all. Like, not on my behalf,